very important story. Here's an exclusive conversation that we get for you. Professor Victor Gao, who is the spokesperson for the Chinese Communist Party, is joining us on the broadcast, getting us the perspective as to what the Xi Jinping and his administration really thinks. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Are we likely to see further escalation in the Taiwan Strait? Will China take this confrontation to yet another level?
Be permanently banned from entering Taiwan again. For the U.S.-China relations, China has already announced a whole series of measures to discontinue or to suspend the cooperation between China and the United States, including in the military area, in law enforcement area, and also, unfortunately, in the climate change cooperation, for example. Therefore, I think China has rarely taken such firm actions in dealing with the United States to demonstrate its full commitment to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. I think the cross relations from today on will never be the same because China is exerting its sovereignty over Taiwan, and everyone in Taiwan, as well as all the other countries in the world, should now fully realize that China is exercising its sovereignty over Taiwan.
Professor Gao, Japan has also made a stunning claim that there were violations by the Chinese in their exclusive economic zone. Is China looking at a confrontation with Japan as well?
First of all, you talked about Japan. Japan unconditionally surrendered at the end of the Second World War. And there is a territorial dispute involving China's island called Diaoyu Island. After the war, the United States administered that island for decades. Eventually, in the early 1970s, the United States transferred the administrative right to Japan for Diaoyu Island, which in Japan is called the Senkaku Island. China has always asserted sovereignty over Diaoyu Island, and the United States, up to today, does not want to take a position on the sovereignty of Diaoyu Island. It basically say, at present, Japan is administering that Diaoyu Island. The territorial dispute between China and Japan does exist for the Diaoyu Island, and China believes it has the legitimate ownership of Diaoyu Island to start with. I don't think Japan will be a factor at all in this situation involving Taiwan. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has said again and again that Japan occupied Taiwan for 50 years, and then as part of its unconditional surrender at the end of the Second World War, ever since then, Japan should have no legitimate justification to interfere in affairs involving Taiwan. China will view Japanese intervention as a sign of aggression.
Professor Victor Gao, I'm going to reiterate that question. Will China use aggressive military means to attack Taiwan or ensure a peaceful settlement and a resolution?
No. Ever since the beginning of the 1980s, China has encouraged the peaceful reunification, and this remains the policy for China. China always wants to use peaceful means to resolve whatever issues there are between China's mainland and Taiwan, and eventually to achieve national reunification by peaceful means. Now, what will change? If there are people inside Taiwan who want to promote Taiwanese independence and separatism, and if there are countries in the world which want to encourage Taiwanese independence and separatism from China, then China will have no other option but take actions to prevent that and then to achieve national reunification by peaceful means. But if peaceful means do not succeed, then by non-peaceful means. So this is the situation. I think the military exercises are part of the whole process of encouraging peaceful reunification rather than reunification by force.
Well, it's quite ironical that you say that. It's once again a direct confrontation between US and China. Will Taiwan be mere a pawn or a scapegoat in this friction between these two superpowers?
First of all, President Biden and the US government even today still acknowledge that there is only one China and Taiwan is part of China. To that extent, I congratulate President Biden and the US government encouraging a situation where on one side of the Taiwan Strait there is one China, on the other side of the Taiwan Strait there is another country called Taiwan. However, whatever the U.S. wants to see or encourages to happen will be immaterial. Why? Because the 1.4 billion Chinese people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait will never allow or tolerate the prospect of two Chinas or one China versus a separate and independent Taiwan. So China firmly believes that the one China remains the megatrend of the world, and eventually we can achieve this by peaceful means. And the United States need to forget about, playing Taiwan card as if that card can enable the United States to stop China's peaceful rise. So the fault is not on China's part, it's on the United States.
All right, Professor Victor Gao, thank you so much for your time and thank you for speaking to us here on CNN News 18.